boy, I know I can't say this guy's name, from Jiddu Krishnamurti, I think. When a quotation, when you call yourself an Indian or a Muslim or a Christian or a European or anything else, you are being violent. Do you see why it is violent? Because you're separating yourself from the rest of mankind. When you separate yourself by belief, by nationality, by tradition, it breeds violence. And from Paul Watts, I picked some great names this morning. Watzlawick. The belief that one's own view of reality is the only reality is the most dangerous of all delusions. And this one, the suicide arrives at the conclusion that what he is seeking does not exist. The seeker concludes that he has not yet looked in the right place. Let us pray. Father, Mother God, we are so grateful to be here this morning and in your presence and with all of your support. We ask now that our guides and angels and all the beings of the highest light join us and celebrate with us as we repeat the prayer that Jesus taught us. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So this morning, I'd like to revisit a topic that I've talked about in the past. The next few sermons that I do, I'd like to talk about various ascended masters, because obviously they have something that they can teach us as this time of transition goes through. And the last time I did this, I talked about Saint Germain. In fact, his lovely liqueur is still back there, if you would like to try some. But I want to come at it from a somewhat different angle this time. Last time when I talked about him, I spent a lot of time on his biography, which is extensive and confusing. His name, changed. We don't know if he was reincarnated or if it was the same life and he just lived for 400 or 500 years. There is such confusion about his physical presence here on Earth. Today, I want to talk more about his teachings because I didn't touch on those too much last time. And it is his teachings, of course, that we want to focus on anyway, the things that will help us get through this time of transition. According to the St. Germain Foundation website, this is the definition of an ascended master. The ascended master is an individual who, by self-conscious effort, has generated enough love and power within himself to snap the chains of all human limitation. And so he stands ascended and free, and worthy to be trusted with the use of forces beyond those of human experience. He feels himself the oneness of omnipresent God, or life. Hence, all forces and things obey his command because he is a self-conscious being of free will, controlling all by the manipulation of the light within himself. It is through the radiation or outpouring of this light, which is really his own luminous essence of divine love, that an ascended master is able to help those who come under his cause and direction. The great ascended masters have worked for centuries preparing for the expansion of light that is now flooding the entire system to which this earth belongs. How do the ascended masters help mankind? The great ascended masters have worked for centuries preparing for the expansion of light that is now flooding the entire system. The cosmic command for the permanent golden age has been given and must now manifest on this planet. The great cosmic law has begun the release and increase of that light, which compels all things to come into perfect divine order wherever it flows, and will continue to expand throughout this planet until all its humanity has made the ascension. The assistance of the ascended masters must be given the individual must be given to the individual through the ray of his own life, which pours into the physical body from the mighty I Am presence. They enfold the individual's life stream in the eternally sustained perfection of their own life streams. That is light substance from their ascended master octave of life. This is why no one can be freed from the limitations, problems, and imperfections of this physical existence without understanding what and where the beloved I Am presence is. The individual must know that before he can be free. And he must call unto his presence, or highest self, or soul, and the ascended masters, because their enfolding light rays are the power which draws the individual's life and its activities up into the perfection of the next octave of existence. Long sentences here. About Saint Germain, the Masons and Rosicrucians credit him with inspiring the founding fathers to draft the U.S. Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, as well as providing the design of the Great Seal of the United States. In New Age beliefs, Saint Germain is regarded as the cosmic master of the seventh ray, thus governing one of the 7 metaphysical principles that rule both individual souls and the unfolding of each astrological age. He is associated with the color violet, the jewel amethyst, and the Maltese cross. Since according to Theosophy, the next astrological age, the age of Aquarius, will be governed by the 7th ray, or the ray of ceremonial order, Saint Germain is sometimes called the avatar of the age of Aquarius, whose current 2,150-year cycle began in the mid-20th century. We all know when the dawning was, right? Guy Ballard claimed that in August of 1930, he met the Count of Saint Germain on Mount Shasta in California. Shortly thereafter, Ballard founded the I Am activity and later the Saint Germain Foundation to serve as its parent organization. The I Am movement was the first to present him as an ascended master, referred to simply as Saint Germain. There are 20 volumes in the Saint Germain series of books, which are also referred to as green books. But I would dare say when we think about Saint Germain, we think about what? We think about the violet flame and the I Am mantras. The power of the words I am. What he has to say about those words is, only the Son of God, which means the individual with free will, can decree as God decrees and say, I am. Whatever quality follows that sound, spoken into the ethers, becomes a manifestation in the world of substance and becomes a form. When the individual says, I am, he is using the creative attribute of the Godhead and announcing creation at his particular point in the universe. The vibratory action of the word I am, either in thought or spoken word, is the release of the power of creation, and whatever quality follows that decree is instantly imposed upon the electronic substance in the ethers. This being the only substance and energy in existence, whose nature is to be qualified in some manner, it must picture the pattern within the decree. If the decree is always for perfection, then the experiences in the individual's world express the fullness of the plan of life. But if the individual does not send forth that decree, it is impossible for that perfection to outpicture in his experiences until the decree is released into the ethers in which he lives. In other words, if you don't declare or intend and say, I am this, and define what it is you wish to be, you will be subject to whatever anybody else thinks of you and whatever anybody else manifests. You can choose your own experiences with those magic words. Every individual can think perfection in every instance, if he only will, and it takes no more substance and energy to build beautiful, perfect forms and experiences than it does the imperfect. But if the individual wants this perfection expressed in his own world, he must use his own energy to utter the decree which will release the perfection unto him. Such is the law of his being, and nothing can change it. It would be nice if he was born today, right? And used English that was a little more in tune with the way we speak. And about the I Am teachings from the site imteachings.com. There may be another couple handouts back there about this. All beings want happiness. In youth, we tend to seek happiness in material sensations, abundance, and ego-driven goals that enhance self-image, or we seek happiness in relationship and family that often produces suffering. Eventually, we wonder, how can I achieve lasting happiness? On this quest for lasting happiness, we seek what is eternal, what transcends death. Throughout history, there have been those who discovered what lies beyond this undiscovered country. They are the great saints, sages, and masters such as Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, and Saint Germain, who not only attained liberation, but who often remained on earth to help others. They had learned whatever lessons they wanted, so at the end of their lives, they ascended into the world of higher frequency. They are known today as the Ascended Masters. You like the way that he says they learned whatever lessons they wanted, not whatever lessons they needed to, whatever lessons were required of them. These lessons are chosen by us on the other side before we manifest into this life. And I know sometimes that's a really hard thing to swallow. It's like, why would I want to do that? And only you can answer that question for yourself.
Dharma.
To attain this yourself, find the source of the concept I. Meditate on who am I. As you find this unlimited self, you can bring this presence into action by the words I am. You can use I am affirmations to become a conscious master. The I am teachings give a method of attaining this liberation, of achieving self-mastery, so you can help others achieve the same. Through intensification of one's own light, combined with a desire to serve others, one becomes a master, eventually an ascended master. It is not complicated, but requires dedicated application. The purpose of these teachings are to help those on this path to mastery. And according to Saint Germain, the goal of our existence is ascension. And about that, he says, the moment your attention is upon your great source of life, the mighty I am presence, that very moment your ascension has begun. Every moment you give earnest, sincere attention to your presence, you are increasing and intensifying your climb to its goal. This is the goal of all life. If human beings only understood that human embodiment upon this earth is an opportunity given the personal self by the great law of balance to correct the mistakes made in previous lives, they would use every experience and extract the lesson from it instead of rebelling against circumstance and being used by it. This constant return to physical embodiment or garments of flesh would be an endless circle of cause and effect if it were not that man has the presence of God within him. When you give your attention firmly to your presence, the ray of light and energy from your presence begins to intensify and expand, causing the rapid expansion of the light within every cell of your body, until the earth loses its attraction for the body. Then the finer parts of the flesh body ascends and is absorbed into the higher mental body. Thus the transformation from the human into the divine takes place. Sounds easy, doesn't it? And about the violet flame, which is the tool that he uses frequently, the foundation states, by its use, any human being can free himself or herself from his or her own human discord and imperfection of the past and present. At least in this one, he's saying or herself. Every human being uses energy and substance, waking and sleeping. Everyone is creating vibration and form through the individual consciousness every instant. The law of energy acts whether the individual be ignorant or wise, and no one ever escapes. The conscious use of the violet consuming flames is the only means life has provided by which any human being can free himself or herself from his own discord and imperfection. This means to call to the mighty I Am presence, or God, if you choose that word, to produce the violet flame and then visualize and feel the flame passing through the body and around it. This is the way the individual becomes free from the limitations and inharmony of earth and thus becomes the ascended master. The great eternal law is that every individual must purify his or her own creation by daily use of the violet consuming flame. It is not possible for anyone else to do it for him. Since he created his imperfections, so he must uncreate and purify them until all his being and world manifests perfection. Then he is free. I know many of us have used the violet flame in the past, and I have found it really useful too, particularly when you're doing shadow work and you're releasing some stuff. You learn your lesson and go, oh, that's what that was for. I'm ready to let go of that. And then just imagine, visualize, whatever word you want to use, that beautiful violet flame coming up through your body and just letting go. And if you can do that truly, you can feel the lightness, you can feel it go. It's an amazing thing. I have an interesting video here where that explains how the violet flame works. And we're going to hopefully be able to share that with everybody.
Let me.
We're working on sharing the screen for those of you on Zoom.
Flame is a spiritual fire.
Turn it up. Yeah.
Rather than
Depends on
a
the
physical
player you
fire.
use.
Most of us can't see it, but for those with spiritual sight, they see it as flames with colors ranging from dark indigo to brilliant amethyst to violet pink, this whole range. Since it's a spiritual flame and not a physical flame, it's not hot and doesn't burn you. Instead, it burns or clears away things that burden you spiritually. To transmute something means to change it from one state to another. The alchemists in ancient times tried to transmute base metals like lead into gold. Spiritually speaking, this is what the violet flame does. It transmutes the lead and the base elements of our being.
I don't know what's happening. It's offering.
Since it's on the thumb drive.
Yeah.
Such as our anger, our fear, our non-forgiveness, our negative karma, our negative thoughts and emotions, and it transmutes or changes all that negative energy into positive energy, or the gold of the spirit. So the violet flame changes negative energy into positive energy. It's an aspect of the Holy Spirit. So how does the violet flame work? If you've ever looked at a rainbow carefully, you may have noticed that the violet light is on the edge and it seems to disappear off into infinity. And this is actually what happens. The violet color of the rainbow disappears into a higher frequency violet ray. It forms a bridge between the physical and the
Buffer.
I suppose it's doing that.
Yeah, if we'd moved to the hard drive and not the thumb drive.
spiritual world. As you probably remember from 8th grade science class, visible light is only a tiny portion of an electromagnetic spectrum of varying wavelengths, which includes radio waves, microwaves, infrared radiation, visible light, ultraviolet light, X-rays, and gamma rays. Of visible light, violet light has the shortest wavelength and the highest frequency. Similar to the violet color in the rainbow, this high-frequency violet light is a point of transition from the visible to the invisible, from the physical world to the spiritual world. So, how does the violet flame change negative energy into positive?
This is awesome.
Energy. The violet
That's it.
Yeah, that's flag. Oh, fail.
Yeah, the video is only about 4 minutes long, so was that it?
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay. Sorry, I only grabbed about 4 minutes of it because it's about 45 minutes long. So hopefully that made sense. At least part of it, the part of the we got to. And this morning when I do the meditation, I would like to use both of the tools that Saint Germain is known for, the I am mantra and the violet flame. So
Do we need music?
no. Let's go ahead and get the light.
Sorry, not.
I'm up and moving. Not well, but moving. And we'll start by taking 3 deep, magical cleansing breaths. And as you breathe in the peace. And as you breathe out, just imagine whatever's stressing you just flowing from your body, just effortlessly with your breath. As you continue to breathe, you notice your body relaxing into the seat. Feel it supporting you. And let your mind just relax as well. Drift into whatever space you feel comfortable. As we continue to breathe in peace, and relax more and more. And as you continue to relax into this beautiful, peaceful place within yourself, we're going to bring a thought or a fear that you would like to release. Something small. Just a little irritation you may have felt on your way in this morning. Irritation with traffic, an irritation with someone else. Whatever little thought that you've had this morning that knocks you out of your divine space. And just very gently bring that image into your mind. And when it's there, we invite that powerful, beautiful violet flame to start at your feet and flow upwards through your body. And as it rises through your body, you can feel the tension leaving. You can feel the irritations leaving and transmuting until that beautiful flame reaches your crown, the top of your head, and flows back to its source. As this beautiful flame continues to envelop you, you notice that your irritations, whatever little negative thoughts you've had, whatever fears you've brought in with you, just dissolve. They cannot exist in this beautiful, powerful violet flame. And while you're sitting here in the flame, feel free to bring in whatever irritations, whatever fears, whatever things you've been carrying you'd like to release. And just let them go with the fire. And now that that fear has released and changed, we're going to bring in the mighty I am words. And just repeat these to yourself to replace that fear. I am safe. I am powerful. I am loved beyond measure. I am a beloved spark of God. I am loved and I am supported always. With those I am thoughts echoing in your mind and anchoring in your mind, you bring your attention back to here and now. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes.